Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny. Today, we are so excited. We have a very special guest today named Kamel. He's a wonderful shaman, breathwork facilitator. He does all sorts of things, and actually, Joanna knows him well. So I'm going to open up the podcast and ask him a few questions before they get going on all the things, if you don't mind. So welcome. And I want to open up talking about your roots in West Africa, because I went to Senegal way back in the day, and I worked there when I was a social worker, and I brought equipment for people who had spinal cord injuries and other injuries. And then I also volunteered every day at the local orphanage. So I've got lots of stories about Senegal, but oh my gosh, you're from there, that area. Tell us everything about your roots there.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Jenny. Hello, Kamel.
Hey. Now you don't know how to say my name.
We did it.
You're a mystery, which, by the way, you are a mystery, and it's a wonderful thing. So Kamel and I go back quite a few years. He's one of those very rare individuals that when I meet, it was just like an instantaneous connection. He's like a brother I've never had. He's also my own personal healer, and I will not let anyone work on me other than him. That's how much I trust him. I trust him with my life. You make your own decisions. We go back quite a few years. So he has been helping me on my journey, and it's nice to have someone who is very supportive and very straightforward. He doesn't beat around the bush, but he's one of the gentlest and kindest men I've ever met. And this is coming from my heart. And I believe you know that, Kamel. I think you know that. Yeah. So go ahead, Jenny. You were asking.
Yes. Tell me about Africa. And thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for these words, Joanna. It's important for me to make sure I know how to show up at my best, especially for my people. So yeah, thank you.
So I want to jump in with kind of an interesting question. So you call yourself not your typical shaman. That's what you call yourself. So one of the things my guidance asked me to ask you is, first and foremost, what is a typical shaman and what makes you so atypical?
Yeah. So a typical shaman is the shaman you would think about whenever you think about a shaman. That's the first image. So we have that image of a shaman is someone that works on things that we don't necessarily know about or we don't understand, that knows how to connect with spirit or spirits. We think about a shaman, or someone that works around plant medicine. I don't do all this. I don't work with plant medicine and I don't work with mystery. On the contrary, I work with a lot of clarity. Because I need to understand it. I need to see it. I need to know what it is about before being able to take it and bring it to people. So that takes me to my root. I come from West Africa, born and raised in the Ivory Coast in West Africa, which is close to Senegal. If you visited Senegal, you visited a little bit part of Ivory Coast too. There are a lot of similarities between these countries, culturally, traditionally, and in the way of being also as old French colonies. So we have this common language, which is French, and the common culture that is related to France. Unfortunately, a lot of the culture of these countries has been erased. As a colony would do, come and eradicate anything that exists so they can put the power and their own tradition into it. So in my country, it's a country that is mostly based on businesses, on money, on building yourself through materialistic things, and less traditional stuff, less and less cultural stuff. People are very disconnected from where they come from. I have a multicultural background. I have an origin that is mostly Mediterranean, like from different places in the Mediterranean Sea. My ancestors or my great-grandparents and grandparents went to Africa, West Africa, when it was still a colony. So most of the people will be raised in the materialistic world, and I did not want that. I wanted something different. I wanted something beyond just working and building companies and doing, although I did that for a very long time, but I was not happy. So I wanted to understand a little bit more about the root, the culture, and I went into what most of the people don't, which is going into the tribes and what exists as the fundamental of a country. So the root of the people there. And this is how I got introduced to spirituality in a different way, by its roots and by the most, I would say, ancient way, because it is something that is given from a father to a son. So I come from a tribe, as I'm born in the Ivory Coast, Most of the people, they don't embrace their tribe. They don't connect to their tribe. I did, and I wanted to understand more about it. So I really went, and my curiosity was really up to the roof. I wanted to understand everything. So with the more scientific mind, as I studied chemistry at university, I studied science. I was really good in like physics and science. I wanted to understand everything they're doing, everything they're saying. How does this make sense in science? And that's one aspect of not your typical shaman. I'll bring science into spirituality. I'll bring the understanding of what's going on in the brain when you are acting like a shaman. What happens in your body, in the chemistry of the body, when you meet a spirit. So all this is what makes it less typical as a shaman.
This is actually because you have because you have a 3D, very much 3D aspect about you, because it is part of you had your own businesses and you have a very 3D aspect. That's one of the things I appreciate about you, because it's what you bring to spirituality or to shamanism is a lot of grounding. So you help, for me at least, you help it make it much more practical. And I always say, we can talk about a lot of things, but if it's not able to be used, then we can't really benefit from it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where, for me, the approach is really prioritizing the human. Whatever you do, you're connecting with spirits. Whatever you do, prioritize this human experience. And in order for you to be able to get the best out of whatever practice as a shaman, if it's plant medicine, you need to understand your body and yourself more and better, because you're exposing yourself to other people. I call them people. I don't call them spirits. For me, it's people. You're exposing yourself to other people. You're exposing your body, your energy, your frequency to other people to have access to it. So as you would not let this body be used by humans in a way they want to do whatever they want with, because you have boundaries, you have values, well, that's yours. This is the same thing when it comes to spirits. You want to be mindful about these things. You have to connect to the practical, understanding the human first before going to that other realm or the spirits, and use them actually in the best way possible for your own self or for the others, for your own benefits or others' benefit.
I love what you're saying, because it has been my experience, and I've gone through it at the very beginning. And I think it's still very prevalent with people who work with guides. There is at least still a big tendency to put these beings on a pedestal. And for you, and now for me, it's a big no-no. It's a big no-no.
They are
And
people.
that's huge. Yeah.
They're powerful. We need them for a lot of things. They can help us do immense things. They can teach us so much. And even when it comes to your own team, what we call guides, angels, they are here to serve you. They're here to help you for your journey, not their journey. They have been assigned before. They are here today for your journey. So it's about you, not about them. And they exist only if you exist. Their frequency is high only if your frequency is high. They are serving you at your best when you are at your best. So that's where, for me, we have to demystify a little bit this spirits that know everything and do everything. Yes, it's true, but it starts with you. It starts with yourself. A lot of science and my own experience, like everything I teach comes from my own experience. It doesn't come from something I learned and now I'm going to teach it. It comes from something I learned so I can practice it on myself because I need it. I needed to heal certain aspect. It works. Okay, let me share it then. So it's all about the self, the human experience when it comes to me. And this is where also it's not your typical shaman. I'm not going to take you and make you experience something amazing and magical. No. You want to come and walk on the shamanic? Fair enough. Let's work on the physical first. Let's work on your body, on your mind, on your consciousness, on your thoughts, on your actions, on your authenticity, on your integrity. Then let's go meet these amazing people so we can take the highway to the healing.
It all has to come together. So it's a holistic approach. Once again, yeah, you use the word demystifying, hence our podcast, Demystifying Divinity. So what you are basically doing is you are demystifying something that is often very mystical to people. The question that came to me as you were speaking is because there is still quite a high propensity. I think it's just a tendency. Thank you. It's a tendency just to put spirit on a pedestal. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what happens when we put spirit on a pedestal, because I know there is some cons to it.
What will happen when you put someone on a pedestal?
Well, for one, you think they're better than you.
They might have possibilities and ways that can serve you to become the best version of yourself. Then once you learn all this and they're still on the pedestal, what happens?
Well, you give away your power.
So for me, it's not about putting on a pedestal, it's an exchange. So in the Quechua tradition, which is one of aspect of what I learned, the shamanism of the Inca or the Peru or the Peruvian and a little bit of Ecuador and Bolivia. So it is about one, harmony, and two, something we call Aini. Aini is give so you can receive. So you have to find harmony in whatever you do. Harmony doesn't mean just being in a joyful place or whatever. You can be in a low frequency emotion. Doesn't mean it's a bad emotion, but it's a low one. So you can be in that, but still be in harmony. And in the Quechua, when you go meet the people, the Kiro, they don't ask you, how are you? They ask you, are you in harmony? Because you have to find harmony with everything inside and outside. And the second thing is about an exchange. So in my tradition, we never go meet a spirit and they would say, do this. And you say, yes. There's always an exchange. Why? You don't go ask a spirit for something and they say, okay, I'm going to do it for you. But what do you want in exchange? There is no overpowering. There is no anyone on a pedestal. I need you. I need this specific spirit to help me with specific things, to help or to create or to whatever, to heal. What am I giving in exchange though? Because if I do that, I'm putting them on a pedestal and I owe them something. My karma has an imprint there. My soul has a credit. So I need to make sure everything is in harmony and balance. And that's what we call Aini. So we do a lot of Aini work. I give you, so you give me. One of the amazing things what we do with Aini is what we call a despacho, which is an offering. It's an offering for Mother Earth and the spirits. Why? Because we ask for prayers. So I'm going to give you this. I'm going to do this offering for you. Most of the time, it's a lot of candies. It's really a party that you do as an offering. So you put a lot of amazing sweet and candy and colorful things in it, and you burn it or you put it into the earth or in the water. So you give it away. But that's a way, okay, I'm giving you this. And in this, I'm asking for specific prayers in exchange. That's the Aini.
And what you're describing, the word I'm getting is what you are giving in exchange is actually something quite playful. It's the playful energy.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think there might be someone who's listening saying, okay, well, if I need this from my spirit, what do they need from me? So I'm going to share my own experience that I had with a dragon last year. And this dragon appeared to me and I found myself saying out of the blue, I need your help. And I was watching myself thinking, why am I asking this question? But anyway, so I asked this powerful being, I said, I need your help. And he said, I will help you under one condition. And I said, what's that? He said, I will help you as long as you teach people where their power is. That's the exchange.
Oh, yeah, that's a beautiful exchange.
And I just got chills. So that could be a form of an exchange. So I said, you have a deal with me. You help me and I will help you by going out there and helping people realize where their power is. And he said, the reason, because when you teach people where their power is, they will no longer have the need to hurt people, to overpower people. So that's the form of exchange that I had with this beautiful being. So thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, of course.
Would you say shaman is?
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to add is even when it comes to prayers, when you take this time to sit in prayer, whatever it is you're praying and whoever it is you're praying for, God, religiously, not religiously, you're taking some of your time, you're putting some energy in that prayer. That's a kind of exchange. I'm sitting here giving you this time, this energy, these thoughts, this love, and this is what I'm asking in exchange. So the prayer is in the same way. It's an exchange. You're asking the specific thing and putting your energy into it.
I love this piece about not putting beings on a pedestal, because when I had Yeshua appear to me a few years ago and I got startled and right away all my belief system went up. He says, no, don't put me on a pedestal. I'm just like you. And I went, yeah, right. That's just because how we're taught. So I love the fact that you're saying this because it helps to normalize. We're not worse. They're not better. We're all the same. We all come from the same space, but we have a tendency to put them on a pedestal. And when we do that, we give away our power. And that's the opposite of what we're here to do, I believe. Right? Would you say shaman is born, or can someone become a shaman?
I believe that we are all in a certain way gifted. There's something funny about that aspect, and it has been happening like every, I would say, 8-10 years. I remember when I first started college, to learn how to do things, you would go to people, they would teach you how to do certain things. That was like around the 2000, like at the dawn of internet and stuff. So you would go learn how to get a gift. Someone is gifting, they teach you how to get that gift. After 2012 and up, somehow people start having gifts, and now you go learn how to use the gifts.
Mhm.
So these are things that for me, it's already within. We are all gifted in a way or in another. Becoming a shaman is mostly a way of living. So you have to start living like a shaman. A shaman is the person that is the bridge between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Back in the days, it would be the person you would go to, and like the ancient times and the civilizations times, it's the person that you go to heal a certain problem, to fix a certain issue that you have. They go meet the spirits, come back with the solution. A shaman is literally the bridge between the two realms. But a shaman is the one that will live the life of a shaman, meaning, again, finding harmony. Doesn't mean you cannot be human. You still have human emotion. You still have human issues. You still have materialistic needs and all this. This is part of being human. You need to honor that part, but also honor it in a way that it's still in alignment and in harmony with the fact that you have access to the other realm and you are the bridge between the two. So anyone can be a shaman today, but it asks really, well, a lot of time of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of understanding, a lot of values, a lot of limits, a lot of boundaries, and also some craziness, some weirdness, because you
Just a little
have
bit.
to accept certain things that you cannot necessarily touch or complete.
Yeah. You said the word bridge, I think 3 or 4 times, and I'm smiling in the background because when we had the QHHT session with Jenny, and I was shown a lifetime as a monk, and I was shown that my job is to, quote unquote, be the connecting bridge. And it's also a DT Toth in 2016. He literally channeled through me that we are the bridge. And then you're saying the bridge.
We are all in a certain way, definitely shaman.
I have to say you were both born for it, because I've seen both of your birth charts.
Let's talk about it.
The astrologer's kicking in now. So you're both Libra risings. Okay. So Libra is the balance. Libra, it needs harmony. So earlier on in life, when you're, a 20-year-old or whatever, you're not using the balance properly. When you're a Libra rising, you're in codependent relationships. You're indecisive. You define yourself in relationships, or you get in really toxic relationships, right? This teaches you in those early years to seek balance and harmony, because if you don't have balance and harmony, it will totally throw you off as a Libra rising, and you're both that, right? So yeah. So I saw that in your chart and in Joanna's chart, I have to say. Both of you have north nodes in Pisces and south nodes in Virgo. You both have that. And it's in the 6th house. And so that is this house of the service. Both of you. So you both are serving humanity. You're both here to be of service, right? So with harmony, you're both here to be of service. And then Kamel, your sun is the strongest sun in the whole darn zodiac. You have a Leo sun, and it's up in the house. The 11th house is the greatest good for all. It is for humanity. It is the future, right? And you've got your Mercury right beside your sun. So again, earlier on in life, people often don't know how to use the conjunction of the sun and the Mercury together well. It shows up as extreme anxiety when you're younger. So you seek the balance, you do the shadow work, you work on yourself so that later on in life, when you have your sun and your Mercury together, it is brilliant power. You happen to have the strongest sun in the world. Your Leo sun and your Mercury are right beside each other in the 11th house. serving humanity. So it's like you're saying everyone can be a shaman. And I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, saying you were kind of born for it.
A certain way, but you have to get into that specific living, which is where it becomes a little bit harder for people to become shamans.
Yes, I will say as well before, I'm not going to talk about astrology this whole time, don't worry, but I will say my first eyeball look at your chart, it suggests life wasn't easy for you. And so you had to do a lot of stuff in those early years to get here to this harmonious place. You were born with great intelligence here and here, right? So to connect these two, and I'm pointing to the mind and to the heart, you actually have that power and you're here to teach humanity how to use both. And then the last thing I will say is that you have the second best moon. So you have the best sun in Leo, and then you have the second best moon, which is in Taurus. So your divine feminine and your divine masculine is so strong in your chart. And you're here to teach people how to combine the both and to step up as both. I can see that you were born with great intelligence, but not an easy life. It wasn't easy to get to this point. Is that all correct?
It is completely correct and accurate. And I love my journey. I love all the difficulties I have been and I am still in, because it is really what gave me one of my strongest qualities that I really enjoy and love the most, which is the resilience and not seeing limits. There are no limits. And that's what I use to show people. The limit is within you. It is in your head. Out there are no limits. No one can be a limit for you. No one can be limiting you. Only you can be.
I'll bet you have a lot of stories that you could retell and retell and retell, and they're called victim stories. I'll bet you have a lot because I've seen your chart, and I'll bet you could drown in that, but you choose not to.
I was lost a long time in the being miserable and finding comfort in being miserable and blaming and the victim mindset, the typical victim man, really for a long time.
Same over here.
And it's only when you work on that and you see how you're actually the one creating out. Yes, of course, things happen, life happen. You have people around you. You don't have control over all that, but you have control in where do you want to stay. This is when I understood that was my biggest liberation ever. And that was my biggest lesson ever, that today when I share my story and when I talk about myself, people are like, wow, well, yeah, everyone can be this. Everyone can become who you want to be. So I love every aspect of the challenges I got in life. And yeah, it really is still an inspiration for myself. I still use it as inspiring myself because, well, I need it. I have a life that is not typical. I'm always building. So I need these little reminders of where I come from. And we have a say in my country. It's like, if you don't know where you're going, go back to where you came from, because it helps you know exactly the path you want to choose and what path you want to choose.
And the saying that's coming to me is, the tremendous gift of being lost is you finding yourself so that you can then help others find themselves too. Otherwise, you can't do what you're here for. I remember Spirit said to me not that long ago, they said, your greatest gift you bring to the world is your pain. Not because I'm bringing pain, but because of how I was able to transform pain into something more beneficial. No one wants to experience pain, yet every single human being experiences pain to some degree. It's just a part of life. And it's just a matter, do we choose to, and choose is a big word, do we choose to grow from it? Do we choose to evolve from it? Or do we choose to stay there? Which is, you talked about the victimhood mentality. And I say, I wrote thesis on it. I'm an expert at being a victim because I was a victim for a very, very long time. So it's interesting to hear Jenny saying that you and I share so many things on an astrological level, because I didn't know that, but that makes sense to me why I've gravitated to you. What I wanted to point to people, for those of you who are listening to it on Spotify or Apple, if you see it on YouTube, you'll see it. But one of the things I really admire about Kamel is his childlike innocence and his humility. That's something that cannot be faked. It can't be. And to me, personally, my humble opinion is when I look at a person that I feel is highly evolved, I see a person with a lot of humility and a lot of childlike qualities, not childish, but childlike. Would you agree, Kamel? Would you agree with that?
Well, I'm also childish
Yeah.
sometimes.
Of course.
My son and Leo, I love that. Love my
Signs.
name. That makes it easier for people to.
Aspire signs are very childlike.
It's, go on, go on.
My understanding is our mission is quite simple. We're here to love. That's it. It's that simple. How we show up, how we do that, that's all individual's journey. I show up a certain way. Jenny shows up a certain way. But what do you believe your quote unquote mission is, Kamel?
On a personal level, have a huge hunger. Like my curiosity is insatiable. Is it a word in English?
Insatiable, yes.
My curiosity. So on a personal level, I want to understand. For me, this experience that I'm having today, this life that I am having today is an opportunity to be what God wants to be as experience, like creating human as experiencing, being able to experience life. This is an opportunity for the universe to test itself in different ways. I'm one fractal of that universe. We are all the fractal of the universe. We are all the universe experiencing itself in different humans. So for me, it's an opportunity to experience. And in any kind of way I can experience, I'm going to go for it. I want to share all this with people. One aspect of it is because I've been through moments where it was very intense. I'm not going to say dark, but I was completely lost.
Yeah.
I was in moments where I was sleeping in the street with absolutely no help, no support. And I was in moments where I'm having so much support from everyone and everywhere. I want to bring this to people that are also on a path of self-discovery, of self-understanding, because it's all about that. For me, it's really understanding self, where we can maybe do some shortcuts. We don't have to get through all the pain that you said earlier. I can show you a way that you can get there a little bit faster without having to be in that place and having maybe things that I'm not telling you this is the way. I'm giving you options to create your own puzzle, helping you with little pieces, little cheat codes to finish your own puzzle. So I think that's the mission I'm building. And even if I'm not thinking about it or actively wanting to do it, I find myself creating projects and creating things where you see people connecting together and bringing the best out of them and what they know to do, like on what they are doing. And it is like I moved into this amazing country now and found myself doing it again. It's like, why would I put myself in this situation every single time? But it's the mission. This is the mission somehow.
Well,
I
you said
find
you're
myself in
curious.
Yeah. And I'm very curious about a human. I'm very
Mm.
curious about the human potential, human power, human capacity. And I love seeing it. Well, it's also in my shell. As a Leo, I love seeing people's potential and leading them into the best version of themselves if they're open to it, because I love that. I love being in that kind of frequency. But I have a curiosity that is insane about human. Everything we do, everything we build, this amazing way that we're talking and a mic and a little thing there and we're all talking. I'm impressed by what a human mind can create. Hence the universe, where the universe can expand and to what it can expand. And in any kind of way I can be part of it, experiencing it, I want to be part of it, experiencing it.
That's the childlike innocence that I was referring to, because you never see a 2-year-old walking with an agenda.
Yeah.
They're just like, they'll experience everything, right? Yeah. And I think that a lot of that has been lost for most people. And I think, Kamel, you also work with inner child. I work with inner child. I think, Jenny, you do it too. Most people are disconnected from their inner child. And we had a workshop last week, and the message that came through was very clear. Your inner child is your freaking inner genius, because it knows no boundaries. It's the closest to source.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's born with just, let me experience, until slowly and surely, it gets to be, shaped by the world and by its experiences. So, and maintaining that childlike innocence, especially when you have gone through your dark nights, and I'm sure you've had many, I know you have, maintaining that innocence, it's probably not easy. That's why I think most people disconnect or shy away, or disconnect is a really good word. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Totally.
Yeah.
And more specifically, when it comes to shamanic work, A lot of people get lost there. A lot of people lose themselves there. A lot of people have access to something so profound, so powerful, that they lose themselves in it. The people I know around me and the few people I have been learning from and worked with from back home, I literally don't know anyone that is still either sane or not being dragged into what is the opposite of fun and harmonious. They get stuck into what is not okay, most of them, because it comes with a lot of, once you get to that work, this work will bring out your demons. You want to show up, you want to heal others? Well, start healing yourself. A lot of people get
Sharpness.
lost. Yeah, it will show you have no options. On one aspect of it is because these are kind of weaknesses, so you need to take care of them. And it goes like in any kind of combat. When your opponent know your weakness, they will attack you there. So you need to take care of your weaknesses, what is not making you be in harmony. Otherwise, you can be attacked there. It's going to come out and you won't be able to deal with it. And that's where, for me, people get lost or forget how to go back to, again, the human experience as it is, the most humbling, beautiful way to show up as an inner child, the child.
Can I
So
ask a question? So
Yeah.
are you saying that when you work with a shaman, so a person is working with you, right? And then would you say that their mirrors are shown to them way much more obvious after working with a shaman? So you're telling the person, look, you're going to be people all over you. I don't care if you go to the grocery store. I don't care if it's a conversation with your husband, right? You're going to tell the client that you're working with, the mirrors are going to be on glare. And so you need to be aware of this. That's when you start realizing what your shadows are. And then that's when you dig into shadow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So to work with me in general, we don't go right away shamanic. We have to go through talk therapy. We have to go through somatic work. We have to go understand what's going on
Basic
because
stuff.
yes, it's mandatory. I have a team. I work with a team. These people are all specialized in something because we won't go help you shamanically when I know that you're not ready to be in that place. So people would come for specific things they want to heal. Okay, sure, fair enough. But what about the programming that got you into it? What about the limiting belief that got you into it? What about the space you have for this amazing new life to come that is going to trigger also your own fears? What are you doing about this? So yeah, once you get into the shamanic, it's the highway. And also as a shaman, you take also on people's energy. It's an exchange. So you will take these kind of things on you, these energies. I'm taking this life path away from you to bring this new one to you. What are we doing with this one? We need to take care of it. This is energy. So it has to be always an exchange and always be worked on as a balance. It's important. People forget about that aspect. People will go meet shamans to do specific things, not realizing what they are asking actually. So there is an important part about shamanism that we call role. If you are a shaman, you need to understand that. You need to really embody that aspect and understand all the teaching around the roles. And what is it? The roles, we all have roles. It's not a mask, it's a role. It's not something negative. A role is, today I'm showing up as a shaman, as a friend for Joanna, as we have different roles. So everyone shows up as the son, the brother, the worker. We all have roles. So these roles, this is you. You step into that role. Then you have the role that people want you to have. This is what we call ego. This is even one step further from you. So the ego is where most of the people get lost. Ego is not something bad, but it's the programming. People want me to be this. I need validation. I need this. The shaman need to step away from this role and even the role they're choosing to be in to connect more to themselves, the true self. So the shaman is the one that will step into the role they choose to and go back to themselves and not stay in the role people are giving them because that's only ego. And this is where people get lost. I want to become this. I want you to do this to me. I want to heal this. Okay, what are you actually getting out of it? What are you trying to get? Is it a role so people can see you in a certain way? Or is it something actually for you because you understand yourself and you want to step into this more healed version of you? So this is where we have to go through a specific process when someone wants to work with me because we need to understand the root of what are you trying to change. And also accept these part of you that you don't like necessarily. They are still part of you. They are valid. Something that happened to you. a programming, a trauma, whatever. So they're still part of you. It is part of us. And we need to start accepting it, loving it before being able to heal that part.
And
That
there's no
also
bypassing that.
and
And
we
it's going to
did
bite you in the
nothing.
ass.
We shifted the wall. That's it.
So as you're talking, there's a couple of questions. I think maybe it's a one question split in two, or maybe one is a statement. When you start working in the capacity of working with, powerful beings, when you don't know your shadows, that can become a dangerous place. And that the statement that came to my mind was, if you don't know your own inner monster, your inner own monsters are going to own you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It's
So
going to come out that.
Would you say, I know the answer already, but I would love your answer. Would you say shadow work is a big part of this journey?
It is the main foundation part of the journey.
That's what I thought.
Whatever kind of shamanism you want to do, it's going to bring, but the difference is, are you willing to work on it, or are you avoiding and numbing and distracting yourself by putting yourself out there? And it happens a lot. People would go meet shamans and they would just have an amazing experience, yes, for what they can do. But everything else is not, integration is not there. All these things are not there. And that is more destructive than healing.
I think what you're describing, what came to me was spiritual bypassing.
It is. And you would see it. 90% of the people out there, they don't do what they preach.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
That's my experience.
Mine too.
So
Mine
it
too.
is there. It is there. And it's okay to show up as a shaman or as a healer or whatever you want to call it, and also have wounds, also have things you're not good at, also have vulnerabilities. And that's also what for me is not a typical shaman. I'm not going to come with knowledge. I'm going to come with wisdom based on experiences. And in these experiences, I'm going to tell you where I suck, where I'm not good at, where I don't know how to do, where I'm still fucking struggling in this human experience.
And still learning. The difference is you are willing to own it, you're willing to accept it, and you're willing to be conscious of it.
Yeah.
And because it has no power over you. That's the difference. Because I always tell people, I'm just as screwed up as everybody else. Just as screwed up. The difference maybe a little bit is that I'm like you, Kamel. I've always been very curious. I always want to understand why. In fact, when I was really young, teachers at school said to me, why are you asking so many questions? And I thought to myself, well, if I don't ask questions, how am I going to learn? It was so crazy to me that they would say that to me. So I have this insatiable, as you said, the desire to want to know how. Sometimes it's to my detriment, because sometimes I can get lost in that. But this desire to know myself. So the difference might be that I tend to want to know myself, because that's what ultimately makes me more be in my own power. It's to know thyself. It's know thyself.
The moment I decided to accept my shadow and heal my shadow and get really into this journey of like the ickiness, the heaviness, and yet you get out of it, the amount of space you have within is all now free space for you to be you. If you want to use a gift, that's all the space you can use for that gift. So you become even more gifted, even more powerful, and it's, again, let's not go into power. Let's take into truth. You become more you, and showing up in that way that will be, more authentic and will bring authenticity to your own gifts that you show up as and healing people with. And that's the space you create within. Not wanting to look at it is putting it on the side. Yeah, you'll succeed at not letting it have power, but it's also taking space.
Yeah, sure.
So you'll be good at shortly what you do, and that's it.
Yeah, Jenny and I are working on doing another workshop, and I was given an advanced tool for manifestation from my team. And I understood right away that it is my responsibility who I share this tool with, because it's a very powerful tool. And it works. And the tool doesn't give a shit how you use it. Here's the thing. If I share it with those who I feel are not ready, they can use the tool in a way that's going to create a lot of karma for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love what you're saying. Another question, and again, I know the answer for myself, but, I would say there's probably some people that go to a healer, go to a shaman, go to a plant ceremony, and they want things to be taken away from them. Do you believe there's such a thing?
Again, why? Why? What are you trying to avoid? What are you trying to resist? This is for me where I personally don't work with plant medicine, although I have a lot of respect. I've sat with plant medicine, but it's not something I do or I work with. And it is the part where, for me, I would always recommend people to, if they ask me, I want to go to do plant medicine, yes, think about it once time. So this decision you took, don't do it this time. Do it next time, but take this time to think about it. Just because, go there connected to yourself, go there understanding yourself, go there knowing that you suck at loving yourself, maybe for whatever reason, so it can help you do it, but not take this away from you. You're taking a part of you. Most of the work we do as shamans is what we call soul retrieval. We are going helping people get back these part of them. And you want to get rid of this part of you that has been programmed or received a trauma or whatever, or abused to be there, and it made you be who you are. It's still you. Connect with you, understand that part, accept that part, and then go heal it. Use the plant medicine to help you get where you want to be, but not counting on the plant medicine or putting the plant medicine on the pedestal where it's going to change my
Or a
life.
shaman for that matter.
Yeah, it's going to help you in certain ways if you are ready, if you are willing to accept everything you are, but mostly everything you're not. Because this is where the shadow is. This is where the work is. Our work is to help people connect back to themselves. Why do you want to go meet someone? Take something out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally, and I could be wrong on this, and if I am, I'm totally fine with that. I personally do not believe that someone can take my shadow away. I don't believe that exists.
They can help.
Yeah, but they can't take it away. Yeah.
It's going to come back.
Would you say the most powerful place to be in shadow work really is being the observer, taking the step back, observing that it's happening, and then being like, okay, maybe some guidance. Okay, what's the next step? And is that when you say, like, you're the highway you were talking about earlier? Is that when you're ready for the highway, when you are the observer?
When you understand it, and when you know that the shadow is also there to serve you, most of the shadow work is all about understanding, what is this protection? What am I protecting myself for? What is this part protecting? What is this shield about? So it's still a part of you that you want to understand, connect with, and then you can heal if you want to heal. I'll give you an example. If like when I was a teenager, I was quite chubby. I suck at gym. I suck at sport. So I found my way to be best at something, but yet it was always there. This little, I was not picked in class, or they choose me to be the goalkeeper because, well, I'll take more space on the goalkeeper. So these kind of things was why I was chosen. But what I did about it is, well, I'm chubby. All of my friends they are very mindful about what they eat. I can eat whatever I want. So I enjoyed food like no one would enjoy food. In that way, you come and you say, oh, you're fat and something. Yeah. And doesn't affect, there is no more. My brain already shifted that neural
There's no meaning behind it. There's no negative meaning behind it.
Done. It's not okay. It's not healthy to be chubby at this age, but I'm going to work on it when I choose to work on it, not for the role you're choosing for, but because I'm choosing that role I want to be in. That's stepping away from the ego. So understand the shadow. That's how it starts. That's how you heal. 50% of the healing is about understanding it. That's it, awareness around it. Not even doing anything, just understanding. That's 50% healed. The other 50% is where you have to put some work, and it's hard and icky and long, and sometimes it shifts. But if you don't,
rewarding.
Yeah, it is the most rewarding. And to go back to what Joanna was saying, the issue about that, if you want to take it away, that happens when we go into hypnosis, for example. People would come and I want to stop smoking. People will help them, or hypnotherapy will help them stop the gesture of holding something to smoke. So yes, you will forget that. But what's the issue? Why are you smoking at? What's the thing behind it that you need to understand first? So you have to go understand that so you can shift that, because once you shift that, nothing is going to happen. But if you don't, you change this gesture, well, this need is still there. It's going to come in another way, in another coping mechanism. You didn't heal the shadow.
I bet you anything, when you've accepted the part of you that was quote unquote chubby, it was easier for you to now go into maybe different type of eating, or maybe maintaining a leaner physique or whatever, because you were no longer doing this.
Yeah.
That fight with yourself in a war.
And that's one of the things that it starts in therapy. Don't go into inner conflict. Understand and accept. so you can have compassion and grace, and then you can shift it. But as long as you're in the inner conflict, you're not healing. That's not peace. Once you accept that you're not at peace, that's already a form of peace. And it's out there.
That's
I
so
think
true.
a lot of people can see shadows in other people, but it's hard to see your own shadow. So what's your best advice when we were working with people on how to identify your shadows?
Great question.
It's all about a mirror. Your shadow are always going to come out in the environment they were created. Your shadow in relationships would not come if you're not in a relationship. So when you know you have certain aspect of you that you have things to heal in, create the environment for it. Create the right setting for these wounds to come out so you can deal with them. So yeah, it is easy to see other people's thing, and that's how we are. We are humans. We're always comparing, and we like that because it's a mirror work. So we can find that peace within by seeing other people. If you want to see your shadows, the best way is to create that environment for yourself and where this wound had been created or has been happening. If someone tells me I worked on that and I healed, wait until we get back into you in a relationship so we can see if you healed that.
I know.
And
I
then
love that you said that because often we can see that. We can see that, like our girlfriends keep choosing the same guy, different face, different name, but it's the same relationship. And then they break up in a year or something. You can see it because your friend is doing it. And so I love that you said that. That gives us permission to be like, well, I did it again. Well, good for you because you needed to do it again because you needed for the shadow to come up. So it gives me permission to say, you know what? Don't beat yourself up that you did it again. You know,
you talk to people, so but again, exit the relationship, break up, whatever. You went to worked on it, then you come back and you find yourself, well, that's what it shows you. That's the only way to see if what you did worked or not. And that's the only way. Because healing is not, I went to therapy and it's done. No, healing is, I go to therapy, I fix it, I come and experience life.
In a different...
You take it back to therapy, you walk, you come back, experience life. Healing is not going into healing or books or therapy or retreat. That's not healing. That's the process. The healing is living the life with the new programming you received and saying, oh, fuck, I'm not ready yet. I have something. Okay, take it back.
Yeah.
That's the healing.
Yeah. It's the practicality of what you've learned, putting what you've learned into practice. That's why I'm saying it's like your relationships are a litmus test. They'll tell you exactly what's going on.
You have to put yourself in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have clients saying often, you know, but I worked on this already. Well, I'm sure you have. Well, here's another layer. There's no point in trying to beat yourself up. And I always tell people, healing is not a destination. It's a lifelong journey. But there can be a bit of a catch-22 when sometimes people get so stuck on healing that it becomes almost too much. Right. So there has to be about, if you're constantly focusing on healing, then that means that you believe that you're broken. That in itself is something that needs to be addressed.
It's about the journey. Like you said, it's about the experience. It's about having the curiosity to see if the work I did in therapy or retreat or plant medicine actually helped me become a best version. And you want to go into this situation with that curiosity and an openness. That's how you create your own mirror. And that's how you will go. And this person said that, and it did affect me in this way. That's the mirror. That's you want to, and not what they did or what they said. It's none of your fucking business what people think and do and act. It's their responsibility, not yours. Your only responsibility is your own actions and emotions. So when this person said that, it affected me. It triggered me. Why? And that's the mirror you want to look for.
Yeah.
That's the curiosity, not people, but you. So look at your mirror, how it makes you feel when people act or say things in that way. And that's what we call boundaries, and you create boundaries with that.
Triggers are, in my experience, one of the best ways to learn about yourself because triggers tell you a story and it's all about the inner story, right? And so oftentimes when we're triggered, we react, but to actually stop and go, okay, what is this trigger telling me about me within the context of what's happening? That's the story because you're living out the story. So I often tell people, if you want to understand your deeply held beliefs that are unconscious, pay attention to your triggers. And rather than just reacting, tune into the trigger and ask yourself, what is this trigger showing me about me? What is it that I am believing? What is it that I feel is happening to me in this moment? Because it'll expose your hidden belief system, right?
Yeah.
And we just keep on experiencing things over and over again, especially if we don't see it. Because if you can't see it, you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. You have to be in this situation. If I may just add something that I would
Please.
recommend, I would not focus on the glimmers to understand me. And this has
Do tell
been my,
more, Glimmers.
yeah, the last couple of years has been a lot of that. So Joanna, you personally know the process of what I have been going through. And mostly what helped me get through this intensity of life that happened for the last couple of years was the glimmer aspect of it. So glimmer is anything that makes you feel not triggered, anything that brings the little joy. Trigger, we have triggers in common. Glimmer is different. Glimmer is unique. Glimmer is when you walk out and you see this rainbow, and it's like, oh wow, that's a glimmer. It's these little moments of short happiness, joy, excitement that you might find. And you can find them in any kind, but that's really you. So that's for me a way to understand you, understand what works. Triggers, you're going to have them. Just be curious and open about them. What I suggest a lot is to put the effort into the glimmers. Let people live with another perspective. I'm not going in a relationship and it's going to suck. I'm going to go into a relationship because it's going to create this and this and this. And I love these moments. Triggers, I'm going to have them. I'm going to deal with them. I want to seek for the glimmers. I want to seek for these little moments of joy, of connection, of whatever brings happiness to self. That's the glimmer. And you understand yourself more with that.
I love what you're saying, because even as you're saying it, and the Triggerville is one tool to use, but also what you're saying is, it's like, even when you're saying it, I feel like my heart just opens. And when you say you train yourself to look for glimmers, you are training yourself to look for things that are good.
Yes.
And we have a tendency to look for the things that are bad.
Yeah. And that's anxiety,
right?
predicting the future. That's stress, past experiences. You will have them. You will definitely have them. But let's not give them power. How you exit anxiety and stress by being in the moment. That's the only way. Again, anxiety, predicting the future. Stress, you're based on past experience emotions. You're not in the moment. How you get back to the moment? Let's focus on something different. Glimmers. These glimmers will bring you back to the moment.
I love it. So the great scientists are the great magicians. So you're showing us that you are that. And a glimmer is such an awesome tip. What are some other awesome tips? And I know you do breath work, so talk about the breath work.
I do what is called Shamanic Breathwork, and it's a practice that I created. And again, I bring the shamanic aspect of it because it helps people connect back to self as a human, body, mind, energy, consciousness, and soul, higher self within. So it's all the states. You can connect to all these states through the Shamanic Breathwork practice.
What would you say is the difference? Because I've had this question asked of me. What would you say is the difference between quote unquote shamanic breathwork and different type of a breathwork?
They're all breathwork techniques. Once you get into a specific conscious connected breathing or rhythmic breathing, it is a breathwork. Each one has a specific way. Holotropic is going very intensively for a long amount of time into a rhythmic breathing with a specific music that can be triggering, and it's the intensity of it that brings the healing aspect of it. Wim Hof is a lot about mind over body, overcoming, overpowering the limits through this breathing technique. So it's very physical and helping the body. And you have other techniques. Shamanic breathwork is based on all these things. I went and I did a masterclass about holotropic. It was missing something. It was really missing a lot for me of compassion and love and understanding and slowness. You don't have to rush. Healing is not rushing. If you're rushing and forcing, you're not healing. So for me, it had a lot of that. Wim Hof is amazing, but it was also limiting the aspect of going into emotion and consciousness and spirit and everything. It was very physical. So every of these techniques that I did was, for me, missing something. So I did this shamanic breathwork based on all what exists already. They have done amazing work. I took the best for me out of each, and I created what I call shamanic breathwork. And for me, it's the way to heal the body, access the body. Once you're done, once you know you're not resisting and you surrender, let's go to the mind and emotions. We finish with the emotions, we get to the energy. We finish with energy, we can get to the soul and higher self. And so it's all that in one session. But you need to surrender to each part to get to the other. So that's mostly what I consider as different from the other techniques, knowing that there is a lot of similarities between all of them.
Actually, being a shamanic breathwork facilitator, thank you to Kamel, because Kamel, breathwork practitioner, thank you, because I learned from you. I absolutely love when I'm in it. It feels like I've done it for thousands of years. Maybe I have in some other lifetimes, who knows? But the level of transformation that I see with people is nothing short of miracle. We actually just had someone leave us a message from last weekend, and it's absolutely extraordinary. So I speak from experience. So anyone who's interested in moving through some energy through their bodies, as I say, shamanic breathwork in general, but we deal with shamanic breathwork. That's an amazing, amazing way to do that. Talk to us a little bit about the benefits of shamanic breathwork, just so that people have an idea if they're new to this.
Yep. So the beauty of this technique is I studied clinical hypnosis, I studied energy healing, I studied neuroscience, I studied like a lot of different things. I'm trying to find something that I can bring to people and help them in. Breathwork in general has been a beautiful way to access a little bit of each. And then I used everything I learned, bringing them into one specific thing, which is called shamanic breathwork. And even shamanism is in it. So it goes into experiencing the human form in all ways possible, through the sound, through the emotions, through the sensation, through the touch, through the physicality, through the energy, through like every aspect of you that you consider this is being human, you have access to it. Because it really goes into all these things. So shamanic breathwork has been built on knowledge around brain and brain frequencies. And it has been built on knowledge around music therapy, which is like a few years of working around music and therapy in it. It has been built on communication skills. It has been built on coaching and therapy and counseling skills. So bringing specific words, sounds, ways, breath, movement into one, to use the best out of everything in one session. It really brings all that what can... Hello, Kathy.
She's agreeing.
It brings a lot of ways to access healing. And it's like really a lot of sessions of therapy in one specific session.
And
she agrees.
She trained Joanna, and then I've been a client of Joanna in 3 of her sessions. And all 3 have been totally different for me. I go somewhere different, and I take away something different. It does change you every time you do it. Thank you so much for creating it.
My pleasure. It is going to bring a lot of you out, even things you don't even know and aware about. That's the somatic aspect of it. So in somatic work, we are not brainy. We're not thinking about these things. It's all body energy stuff that are there. And that's the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that we use to release the energy and the things or moments where you're stuck in. It helps you really release them through the power of breath. But it goes like with the sound, the music, the script, and everything.
It's definitely a journey. Listening, if they want to learn how to do breath work with you, to learn your specific shamanic breath work procedure, and do you teach it online? How can people learn from you?
So for now, it's online. I do it twice a year. It's a 3-month program, but it's 3 months of a lot. Like people are bombarded of information and experiences. 3 months is good enough for me to really share. So it happens twice a year, 3 months, January to April or September to December. It's every Monday. And I have 2 different times for people to join like around the world, because I have clients literally everywhere, like from Hong Kong to Canada. So whatever is in between. So it's a program that I teach, and it has it's an experiential program. So we have to experience a lot and understand how to do each part of it. So putting people into the circumstances of, at the end, you will hold space. You will know how to hold space. You will understand what is holding space. You're not just making people breathe. You have to understand everything around it. And a lot of what's happening that you experience, Jenny, is not even shared by Joanna, because it has so much stuff that we cannot just say everything that is happening to you, but we give the main points. But she knows every aspect of it and what's going on with you. So yeah, at the end, you need to be ready to hold space, and then you get your certification. And I'm doing the in-person one. That's going to be in October. So the
Okay.
in-person is happening too, where it's going to be more, it's going to be shorter. It's going to be 3 months. It's going to be like 10 days, but in the same way, very intense and going all day long with theory and practice at the same time.
And where will that be?
For now,
The best
that's-
part.
What's
It's
in
in
Peru?
Peru.
it's going to be in Peru, but also it's still hypothetically happening in Ireland and Finland at the end of the year.
In person.
Yeah, in person. Every retreat I do, not only for breathwork, but the other retreats, they happen in Peru, Portugal, Ireland, Finland. These are the destinations. So this is being built. For now, Peru exists, it's concrete. What is following very, very soon is Portugal, Ireland, Finland.
Kamel and I have been
Amazing.
talking about his visions, which was part of my vision too, of having retreats in Peru. And now he is in Peru holding space. And so
Wait for us.
you actually do have a retreat coming up in Peru in June. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
So this June, Friday the 13th, I love that date. I'm doing the first retreat here in Peru, and it's going to be a retreat that, again, is going to happen in Peru a few times and other countries. And this retreat is what we call a silent and dark retreat. So there is no plant medicine per se, but there is accessing self, accessing the universe within through all the other senses. So it's a 7-day retreat. The 3 first days are all about silence and dark. We are in complete darkness and we are completely silent, or we go through workshops all day long for the 3 days, exploring all the different senses. So people need to express with everything else, but not the voice. And people need to see with everything else, but their eyes. And through these workshops we'll be triggering the different senses. And like the food is going to be walked around to taste, actually, to start tasting food. There's a lot of sounds, of course. The place has a beautiful water flow to help people stay in that beautiful sound of water flow. So everything has been designed and crafted to activate different senses, even if people don't really necessarily know, it's going to be there for that. So the 3 days are going to be full of that. Each person will have a specific guide that is going to be with them, helping them and guiding them. But the game is about exploring the immensity of the universe and being in the moment. Because if you're blind, you cannot talk, and you need to go from one point to another, even from your bed to the door. You need to be present in the moment. You need to be in the now. You cannot be anywhere else. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself. So it's all about remembering to be in the moment. The second inspiration about that is I have what is called a fantasia, meaning I don't know how to imagine things, but I don't know how to see in my imagination. So if someone says, imagine something, I still don't understand how you can see something without seeing it. So my way of imagining is through physical sensations, through emotions, through knowing. Remembering memories is through how I felt around that memory, the smells I had. This is my memory. So no images. I don't know how to create images.
You have no images.
Absolutely no image. I don't know how to do this. It's weird. So even dreams, I don't see dreams. I feel, I know my dreams. And it's all about, again, my senses. So if, like, as you know, Joanna, I had a nice van adventure across Canada. So if you ask me, remember, if you can see my van, I know how it feels like. I know how it smells in my van. I know all this. That's how I remember. So that was my second inspiration for this retreat, taking people into experiencing what I might experience when I go to this universe within myself. And the 4 other days that follow the 3 days of dark and silence are integration. And that's what it's very important for me, again, because this is where the work happens. The work doesn't happen in the healing or in the process or in the breathwork session. This is to smash the door open to the healing, but then the healing happens in the integration part, how you act with what you learned. So the 4 days that follow, it's full integration. We'll go visit amazing sacred sites, so tourism, but we'll also do a lot of experience, like how to create the ceremonial cacao. You're going to be doing it with someone. How to do dumplings. We're going to be doing dumplings all together. So it's a fun 4 days of fun and experiences and integration. So that's the retreat happening in June. That's going to be June 13 in different places.
Just you describing it makes me go, that sounds quite intense, but it also sounds like a lot of fun.
It is going to be
Yeah.
intense. It is meant to be
Yeah.
intense, but
Yeah.
very gentle.
Yeah.
Like it's going to
Yeah.
be guided, supported. I have an amazing team. I've been here in Peru for a couple of months, and I've been doing a Sunday mini festival because I want community. I want to create something. My grandfather used to say, I have a chili in my, I'm not going to say the word, in my little thing in the back because I cannot stay still. I need to be always moving. So I did that. And from that, I'm meeting amazing people, amazing facilitators, practitioners, offering different things. And I'm like choosing a nice, beautiful team to hold space for the people that will come. And again, to bring something different into the retreat. There are amazing retreats out there. I'm not going to do the same. I'm going to do something.
Well, you are not the typical shaman after all.
That's right.
Called retreat.
Can I ask a question before we say goodbye? Why you do not work with plant medicine?
So in my lineage, we are not allowed to let any spirit come and take control of the sacred body. We have a body that we are supposed to use to experience this life. We chose this body, however you want to put it, but this body is part of me. It's part of my soul. We are not allowed to let a spirit come and use it in a way it wants without us having control. So in my way of working with spirits, we go meet the spirits, even at night when we sleep. And that's where most of the work happens. We go meet spirits so spirit doesn't come to this body. So that's one of them. Two, it's because it's an amazing tool to get you somewhere, but you need to understand everything around it. You need to understand yourself first. You need to understand the integration work, which is most of the time where a lot of people are like abandoned. You come, you do the thing, and then they release you. And what about the integration? So that's where, for me, I prefer not to go into plant medicine or bring plant medicine to the healing. And also because I believe whatever it's going to show you, you can do it yourself. We have amazing tool that you don't need to get into plant medicine to access that. Definitely, it has a lot of benefits. I have a huge respect for it, being someone that sat in it. But also, I believe that we have everything we need. And that would be only for extreme measure where you would go get, it's a surgery. It's a soul surgery.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go do surgery every weekend because you need to fix something.
It's a soul surgery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard it described as that, but that really makes a lot of sense.
What I'm appreciating, what you're saying is that you are really focusing on the work and not the quote unquote shortcuts, which a lot of people are looking for.
The Band-Aids.
Yeah. And I met a client once who came to me for a session, and he said that he sat with 75 ayahuasca ceremonies and he was still dealing with the same problem. And I thought to myself, how is that even possible? Ooh, the medicine will never take things away from you. The medicine will never put things in you. The medicine is only going to show you what's going on. Your job is now to have this awareness. Now put that into work into your life.
Yeah.
Integration.
Mama Aya will show you what is not okay. Mama Aya will help you in the moment heal what you need to heal. She knows how to. But when you go 75 times with all my love and respect to that person, when you go, and I've met someone literally like the same way when I went to my ceremony, what is that you didn't heal the first 1, 2, 3 times that you think you're going to heal after the 70 time? And for me, this becomes experiencing the symptoms of the plant, but not experience the medicine.
Seeking the high. It's like seeking
You're
the
not
high.
in it anymore. And like I did mine 3 years ago. I'm still processing the amount of things that come out. I'm not ready to go back and get my ass kicked again and bring other stuff on me. I still have a lot of work to do. So it's about that. Go understand, heal what you can heal. What you cannot, take your doggy bag with you, but take care of it. Don't leave it on the side and go find another. It doesn't work like this.
And that's what I appreciate with you saying in various different ways over and over again is what I'm hearing is, unfortunately, there is a lot of tendency for people to look for the quick fix, the pill, the shortcuts. There is no shortcuts. Absolutely. People will help you. Shamans will help you. Medicine will help you. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to you.
Exactly. And then, that's what people,
There's no way around it.
They don't know who they are. They want to find themselves. Nothing outside is going to help you. Live your life inside out, not outside in. Your path is not outside, it's inside. What is that you want to choose to be? That's your path.
100%.
That's what we call destiny. You choose it, you create it.
So how do people get a hold of you if they want to work with you? or attend these beautiful retreats. Like I will be sometime this year. I already know it. I was told this morning.
Yeah, I would love to have you already. And this one also is like, I really managed to get it the cheapest way possible because I want the experience. I'm really looking for the experience. And so I really managed to get a lot of people on board to do a lot of workshops, just to have experience that. And to the easiest way, notyourtypicalshaman.com. That's my website. Not Your Typical Shaman on the social media. That's where you will find me. I suck at answering WhatsApp messages, although I ask everyone to WhatsApp me. But then I'm realizing like there's so many messages.
At least you're
But the
honest.
best way, yeah. But if you want to message me and you want me to answer, that's on Instagram. I'm
That's
okay
good
with
to know.
WhatsApp.
That's
Yeah,
good
if
to
you
know.
really want to get hold of me, that's the way, because I'm going to hate seeing a message.
Now we know the
But yeah,
trick.
the best way,
Yeah.
Not Your Typical Shaman, and email. Email works perfectly fine because it gives me the time to sit and answer. Yeah. And then on the website, you have like the retreat, the sessions. I don't do just one-on-one. I do several because I don't like just come get something and go. And we need to work on specific things.
Right.
And even
Yeah.
the teaching and the classes I do, they're all on this website.
Yeah. So this, I could talk to, as you know, as a friend,
Yes.
I could talk to you forever. I hope that you can say again, yes, to another podcast, that you would be open to it. But before we go for today, since our podcast is called Demystifying Divinity, my question for you is, what is divinity to you?
Divinity is inside for me. Divinity is us. Divinity is each one of us. There's a beautiful, very, very short movie, 10, 12 minutes around it. It's called The Egg. Really interesting. I invite you to go watch it.
Perfect. Thank
Short movie. It has been done. It's someone that wrote it and other people did the movies. Like it's not the person that the screenwriter, but really interesting. And for me, this brings some answers to divinity. Divinity is everything that is out there. Divinity is God. Divinity is the universe that God is using as a tool to create everything. So it's everything that is out there, but mostly everything that is within. And that's for me, what is divinity? You want to respect yourself, respect the other. You want to respect yourself, respect the little tree outside. You want to respect yourself. It starts there. So everything you're respecting outside is also you respecting yourself. You cannot be
you.
loving and respecting yourself if your actions outside are different. It has to be the mirror. Everything outside should be in alignment with what's inside. And that's for me how you can become this divine self. When you align your outer world with what's happening inside, you live your life inside out. This is how I want to feel. So my life should be reflecting that. That's how you take control back of this life and you become divine because you can create the life you want. And my experience has been leading me to that, to understand that I'm the one creating every aspect of this. Like all this is me creating it because I want it, because it brings something inside. So yeah, that's for me what divinity is. It's each one of us and everything that is around.
And we're all connected.
The egg has a nice, but I still didn't understand how to make it scientifically connecting, but I'm getting there. But the egg has a beautiful way of understanding.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Kamel, for being here. We hope to have you again if you say yes. I look forward to chatting with you offline and seeing you this year at some point. I cannot wait.
That would be lovely.
And I actually said to Jenny, hey, Jenny, do you want to go to Peru this year? If you do, send it out there.
I said, heck yes, I do.
I have everything you need. I'm waiting whenever you want.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing everything. I feel like we went even deeper into shadow work, and Joanna and I are constantly talking about shadow work on this podcast. So thank you so much.
All right, guys. So this is it for us for this podcast. Thank you so much for being here. We look forward to seeing your comments, and look for notyourtypicalshaman.com if you want to connect with Kamel or with his beautiful offerings. And we all are looking forward to seeing and talking to you again. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.